Have you ever felt like you're in a boat in the middle of a storm and you're the only one frantically bailing water? The waves are crashing, the wind is howling, your heart is pounding in your chest, and you look over at the other person in the boat, the person who is supposed to be rowing with you, and they're just staring at the sky, calm, detached, almost bored. And in that moment, a terrifying question, one more chilling than the storm itself, rises from the pit of your soul. Am I the crazy one? If you've ever loved someone who seems emotionally bulletproof, someone who can watch your shared world crumble without so much as a flicker of panic, then you know this unique and devastating pain. You're in a relationship where the fire alarm is blaring, the house is filling with smoke, and your partner is calmly reading a book, telling you you're overreacting. This isn't just about disagreement, it's about a fundamental disconnect in your very wiring for survival. You are screaming from a place of passion, of commitment, of a desperate desire to fix what's broken, and you are met with a void, a serene, impenetrable, maddening void, and it leaves you feeling isolated, hysterical, and utterly, completely alone. But what if I told you that their lack of panic is not a sign of strength, but the greatest weakness of all? What if their calm is not a mountain of stability, but a prison of avoidance? And what if, right here, right now, we stop waiting for their panic and start harnessing the incredible power of your own? For so long you've likely been told, or you've told yourself, that their unflappable nature is a strength, that they are the rock in the relationship. But I want you to challenge that notion right now. I want you to consider that what you have mistaken for strength is, in fact, the most profound form of fear. A panic attack is a visible, audible, tangible reaction to a perceived threat. It's the body's alarm system going off. But what about an alarm system that is so terrified of the sound of its own siren that it disconnects the wires entirely? That's the avoidant. Their calm is not a lack of fear, it's a masterful, deeply ingrained strategy of preemptive surrender. They have learned somewhere deep in their past that engagement is futile, that conflict is catastrophic, and that emotional expression leads to pain. So they built a fortress. From the outside, it looks impenetrable and strong, but from the inside, it's a lonely, dark chamber where nothing gets in, and more importantly, nothing gets out. Their heart, their passions, their vulnerabilities are all locked away. They aren't avoiding you, they are avoiding the terrifying specter of their own unresolved pain. When you see them as a rock, you grant them a power they haven't earned. A rock is inert. A rock doesn't feel. A rock doesn't grow. A rock simply exists, and over time, it erodes. But when you see their calm for what it is, a sophisticated defense mechanism born from a primal fear of emotional annihilation, the entire dynamic shifts. You stop feeling like a hysterical fool begging for a response from a statue. You start to see a terrified human being who has chosen the safety of emotional death over the risky, messy, and glorious battlefield of real love and connection. Your panic, then, is not a weakness. It is the pulse of life within you. It is your commitment screaming that things are not okay. It is your soul's refusal to accept a slow, quiet death of the spirit. Their calm is the absence of that fight. So I want you to make a decision today. Decide to stop mislabeling their fear as fortitude. See the fortress for the prison it is. Because the moment you change the label, you reclaim your power. You are not the unstable one. You are the one who is still willing to feel, to fight, and to care deeply in a world that often rewards numbness. That, my friend, is not a flaw. That is your superpower. You are the emotional atlas of your relationship, carrying the entire weight of its world on your shoulders. You feel the tension, you anticipate the problems, you initiate the difficult conversations, and you absorb the silent treatment. You are doing the work for two people, and you are running on empty. Your empathy, that beautiful, profound ability to feel and care for others, has been weaponized against you. You are so busy trying to feel for them that you have forgotten how to feel for yourself. You're so attuned to their subtle shifts in mood, their quiet withdrawals, that you've become a master decoder of their silence, all while your own inner voice is screaming for attention and is being drowned out by the noise of your own overfunctioning. This isn't partnership, this is emotional servitude, and the cost is astronomical. It's the cost of your peace, your sleep, your self-esteem, and your joy. You have become the sole guardian of a relationship that they are merely occupying. Every time you swallow your anger to keep the peace, you are poisoning your own soul. Every time you make an excuse for their absence, you are betraying your own reality. Every time you try to love them enough for the both of you, you are depleting the very reserves you need to love yourself. This constant state of high alert, of managing and mitigating, is a form of slow motion burnout. It's why you feel so tired all the time. It's why the smallest things can set you off. Your nervous system is shot because it's been forced to be the early warning system for two people. So what is the antidote? It's not to become cold and avoidant yourself. The antidote is to redirect the beam of your profound empathy back onto the person who needs it most. You. It's to start asking a different set of questions. Instead of, how can I make them comfortable? You start asking, what do I need to feel safe and respected in this dynamic? Instead of, why won't they change? You ask, what is the cost to me if they never do? This is about setting an emotional boundary, not as a wall to keep them out, but as a gate that you control. You decide what energy you let in and what you will no longer carry. You put down the weight of their emotional baggage, not with anger, but with the quiet, firm conviction that your well-being is not negotiable. Your empathy is a precious resource. Stop pouring it into a bottomless well. Start watering your own garden. You have tried everything, haven't you? You've tried talking, crying, yelling, writing letters, giving the silent treatment, being extra nice, being extra cold. You have performed the entire emotional symphony, and your audience hasn't clapped. They haven't even blinked, because for an avoidant, any reaction from you, positive or negative, is still engagement, it's still energy. Your pleas, your tears, your anger, it all feeds the dynamic. It confirms to them, on some level, that they are the important one, the stable one around whom your world revolves. Your chaos becomes the backdrop for their calm. So, what is the one thing they cannot control? What is the one thing their entire defensive system is not equipped to handle? You're serene, deliberate, and powerful in action. I'm not talking about the petulant, punishing silent treatment. I'm talking about a profound internal shift where you stop trying to manage their emotions or get a reaction from them. It's the decision to cease all efforts to fix the unfixable from your end. When you stop bailing water in their side of the boat and instead start calmly building your own life raft, that's when the ground shifts. This kind of inaction is not passive. It is the most active, aggressive state of being you can adopt. It is the inaction of a lion that stops chasing the gazelle and simply turns and walks away. It communicates one thing: I am no longer playing this game. My value is not up for debate. My energy is moving elsewhere. This is terrifying to the avoidant, because their entire equilibrium is based on your predictable attempts to connect. Your withdrawal of that energy creates a vacuum. For the first time, they are left alone in their fortress with only the echo of their own silence. And silence, for someone who runs from emotion, is deafening. This is where you stop being the problem solver and become the prize. You invest in yourself. You go to the gym. You take that class. You reconnect with friends. You pour your once diffused energy back into a concentrated beam of self-development. You become so interesting, so vibrant, so full of your own life, that their lack of panic becomes irrelevant. You are no longer waiting for their alarm to go off because you are too busy building your own castle. You have been cast in the role of the chaser. It's a role you never auditioned for, but you've been playing it with Oscar-worthy dedication. The chaser's script is simple. Your happiness, your sense of security, your entire emotional state is dependent on the other person's actions. Their distance causes you pain. Their slightest engagement gives you hope. You are a satellite in their orbit, and you have given them control over your gravitational pull. It's time to tear up that script. It's time to fire the director of this movie and take the seat yourself. You are no longer the chaser. You are the architect. The architect does not beg for a place in someone else's world. They design and build their own. The architect understands a fundamental law of the universe. You cannot control another person's behavior, but you have absolute sovereignty over your own boundaries, your own standards, and your own responses. So, what does an architect do? They stop asking, "Why don't they love me?" and start declaring, "This is what love looks and feels like to me." They define the non-negotiable standards for any relationship that gets to occupy space in their life: respect, reciprocity, open communication, emotional presence. These are not things you negotiate for. These are the pillars of the reality you are building. If someone cannot or will not meet you in that reality, they do not get access to it. It's that simple. This isn't about giving ultimatums to them. It's about giving a mandate to yourself. You are building a life so compelling, so aligned with your values, that any relationship must add to its beauty, not detract from it. The avoidant person in your life will either see the blueprint of this new reality and decide to pick up a tool and help you build, or they will choose to remain outside the gates. Either way, you win. Because if they stay, you have a true partner. If they leave, you have a magnificent castle without a dragon in the dungeon. Stop chasing. Start building. The power to design your life has always been in your hands. You were just too busy looking for the approval of someone who was hiding from themselves to notice. The frustration you feel, that white, hot, simmering anger when you're met with yet another blank stare or a change of subject, that energy is not your enemy. It is pure, unrefined fuel. For years, you may have turned that anger inward, believing it made you too much, or needy, or dramatic. You have been taught to be ashamed of your own fire. I am here to tell you it is time to stop apologizing for it. That anger is a signal. It is your soul's righteous indignation at being ignored, diminished, or made to feel invisible. It is the part of you that knows, with every fiber of your being, that you deserve more. The key is not to extinguish this fire, but to harness it. To take that raw, chaotic energy and channel it into the forge of your own identity. Every time they dismiss you, let that be the hammer blow that forges your resolve. Every time they withdraw, let that be the heat that tempers your self-reliance. This frustration is the energy you have been wasting on trying to melt an iceberg. Redirect it. Use it to power your own dreams. Go for that promotion. Start that business. Write that book. Transform that pain into your purpose. The most powerful identities are often forged in the fires of adversity. The person you become on the other side of this, the person who learned to validate themselves, to nurture themselves, to fight for themselves, that person is unshakable. That person does not need anyone else to panic to know that a situation is serious. That person trusts their own judgment implicitly. The avoidance silence, their lack of engagement, is the very thing that will teach you to become your own greatest champion. Don't waste a single drop of that precious fuel on resentment. Use it all to build a version of yourself so strong, so complete, that no one's indifference can ever threaten your core again. The entire painful dynamic has been anchored in a single powerful word: we. Why won't we fix this? What is happening to us? When will we be happy? This focus on the collective we has been the cage that has trapped you. Because what implies a shared goal, a shared effort, a shared reality. But you are in a relationship where that shared reality does not exist. One person is fighting for a partnership and the other is fighting for solitude. To continue focusing on we is to try to build a house on a foundation that only you are pouring. The single most liberating, powerful, and transformative shift you will ever make is to change that one word, move from w to I. This is the ultimate pivot. What do I need? What does happiness look like for me? What are my non-negotiable standards for any relationship in my life? What action can I take today to honor my own spirit? This shift is not selfish. It is the foundation of all healthy relationships. You cannot have a healthy way without two whole healthy eyes. By focusing on I, you are not destroying the relationship. You are giving it its only possible chance of survival. You are forcing it to evolve from a dysfunctional parent-child dynamic where you are the anxious parent and they are the withdrawn child, into a potential partnership of two adults. If the other person cannot meet you in that adult space, then the we was an illusion anyway, and you have freed yourself to find a way that is real. This pivot changes everything. It gives you back your agency. Your life stops being a reaction to their avoidance and becomes a proactive creation of your own design. The energy you were spending on the black hole of us is now redirected to the sun of your own potential. Start every morning with the I mantra. Make every decision from the I perspective. You will be amazed at how quickly the fog of anxiety lifts, how your energy returns, and how your path forward becomes crystal clear. The power was never in fixing them. The power was always in honoring you. The journey of loving someone who never panics is one of the most disorienting and soul-testing experiences a person can face. It systematically dismantles your trust in your own perceptions and drains you of the very emotional vitality that makes life worth living. You have been fighting a ghost, trying to grasp a shadow and begging for a response from a void. But as we have journeyed through this today, I hope you see with stunning clarity that this was never your battle to win. Their fortress was never yours to storm. The path forward is not about learning new ways to make them panic, to make them see, to make them feel. That is a fool's errand that has cost you years of your life. The path forward is a radical, unwavering, and glorious return to the self. It is about reclaiming the energy you have diffused and concentrating it into a laser beam of self-love and self-construction. It is about deciding that your calm is more powerful than their calm, because yours is born from a deep, unshakable inner foundation, not from a fear of feeling. You must become the architect of a reality so compelling that their presence or absence becomes a mere detail in the grand landscape of your life, not the determinant of its weather. You stop carrying their emotional load, you stop fueling the dynamic with your pleas, and you start using the frustration as the very fuel that forges an identity so strong and so complete that it needs no external validation to know its own worth. This is the ultimate pivot from the exhausting "where" that never was to the empowering "I" that always has been and always will be. It is from this place of wholeness that you can finally set the boundaries that honor your spirit and establish the standards that command respect. You are no longer a hostage in someone else's silent movie. You are the director, producer, and star of your own epic. So I leave you with this final question, a question to replace the old, painful one. It's no longer, when will they panic? The new question, the question that holds all the power, is this: what magnificent creation will I build with the energy I am finally taking back? The answer to that question is the beginning of the rest of your life, a life of freedom, power, and a peace that is active, vibrant, and entirely your own. Thank you for having the courage to be here today, to confront this painful dynamic, and to choose a different path for yourself. Your decision to seek change is the first and most important step. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and you have just taken a giant leap. Now, go out there and take back your power. Build your masterpiece. I believe in you. Goodbye for now.